Jodie from Cherry Tree Cake Design. Today we are going to be making Isomalt eyeballs. So I've got my husband's birthday coming up and I'm doing a chessboard cake which is Lord of the Rings themed. And so as you know, in Lord of the Rings, if you've seen it, they've got a dragon. I think his name's Smorg or Smaug, however you say that. And so I want to kind of do a dragon's eye, and then you've also got the Eye of Sauron, I think it is. I'm actually going to do a little bit of I've already done my dragon's eyes, so I'm going to show you how to do the Eye of Sauron one, right? Which you could also do dragon's eyes with, by the way. So I'm lucky I've got an edible image printer. If you don't have an edible image printer, you can use wafer paper or edible image icing sheets, and you can draw the eyes yourself. I have an edible image printer, so I've printed out some. They are actually dragon's eyes, but I'm going to be using them as my Eye of Sauron corner piece on the chessboard. I will pop up a photo of the cake once it's done, so you kind of get the gist of what I'm talking about. Okay, so that's the first thing you need. I've already kind of pre-cut it out. Your icing sheets, this is an icing sheet. It's all edible, and so it has a backing on it, a plastic backing. Don't put that in there, it's not edible. The first time I ever did it, I didn't realise there was a backing sheet on it, and I did put it in there. Thankfully it was for myself, and I realised once I, went to eat it. Okay, so peel the backing sheet off, always. Okay, so these silicone molds are really good. I get mine from Sugar Time here on the Central Coast. So you do need one of these because our eyes are bigger that we're using, or sorry, it's still an eye, I suppose, isn't it? They are a bit bigger, so obviously I've got the bigger mold. I also used this mold when I did my baby Yoda cake as well, because they were pretty big eyes. Okay, so to start with, what we're going to do, I'm going to be using these two little ones here. So we're going to, you don't need to grease that, you don't need to prep that in any way. Silicone comes away from Isomalt really easy. It's a great product actually for stuff like that. So we're going to melt our Isomalt now. So you want to use a Pyrex container, a Pyrex jug, or something that's made out of Pyrex for your microwave. You can do it, melt Isomalt over the stove using a stovetop with a saucepan. I like the microwave because I can watch a little bit better, and it's a lot faster to do it on the microwave. It doesn't, I find on the stovetop, you've got almost melted to holy shit, it's burning. So I find in the microwave I've got more control over it. So I do recommend using the microwave personally. Okay, so I do still have a little bit of Isomalt in there from my last video. It's actually still a little bit warm. So we are going to use that because Isomalt you can reheat. I do have a Isomalt, I think they call it a raw form, so it's white, and you need it to be clear. So you can buy Isomalt in cubes, which is being melted before and then set, and you can just heat it up. It's a little bit faster. I like the raw form. Again, I get this from Sugar Time as well. It's by Over the Top. Okay, so what you want to do, even though I've already got some Isomalt melted in there, we are going to need more than that. So you can pour your raw stuff over the top, it doesn't matter really. So what you want to do is you want to heat it to start with in a 1 minute interval until it starts to melt and bubble, and then you want to do it in 30 seconds, because if you keep doing it in 1 minute, it will go from being kind of melted to holy shit, it's burnt. And then because we're doing eyes, we can't have brown mucky Isomalt because our eyes will look terrible and cloudy and kind of crap. Okay, so we're going to just pour some in our Pyrex container. Now, As you know, that was actually probably a little bit too much. That's okay. As you know, Pyrex heats up, so make sure you have a towel handy to grab the jug out of the microwave. Okay? So, we have it in there ready to go. We're going to pop it in the microwave for 1 minute. Some powder pop sticks. Kabam. Because Isomalt is very sticky, so I like to use disposable stuff. As you can see, it has started to melt there a little bit, but there's still a fair bit of white in there. So you give it a bit of a shake because you want to move the heat around a little bit, and so it's not just isolated to one spot. Okay, and then we are going to do that now. I think we're going to do 30-second intervals just because we did have that little bit on the bottom before. We don't want to burn that. Okay, I've never seen molten lava, but I can imagine this is very similar to, well, actually molten lava would be worse, let's be honest, but you do not want to pour this on, you don't want to get this on yourself because it will just keep burning your skin. I've personally not done that yet because I'm extremely cautious. So as you can see, there are a fair few bubbles in there. So we are going to let it rest for a minute to see if we can disperse those bubbles. You can colour Isomalt whatever colour you want. You can also flavour it however you want. I have flavoured my Isomalt before when making wedding favours and stuff like that. It is just like eating a boiled lolly, but apparently it's lower in calories than sugar. So there's that. I personally wouldn't eat it just because I'm not a fan of boiled lollies. Okay, so just going to put our stick in a plastic container. I almost sat it on the bench, which you can do because once it's set you can peel it straight back off, but it is better to keep your area cleaned. Okay, so most of our bubbles have disappeared there. You've still got a few little ones there, which I have found kind of happens with ice. Okay, so we're going to just pour a small amount in to start with. So probably about halfway really, not maybe a quarter. So you want to put a quarter's worth in. And then top it up a little bit to halfway. And I can see already there's surface bubbles there, but I'll show you how to get rid of those. Okay. So we just want to let that sit for just a second. Okay, so you want to let that sit just for probably a minute or so. You can pop it in the freezer. The reason why I'm not popping it in the freezer at the moment is because it's really runny, so it'll become uneven, and I don't really want it to be uneven, completely uneven anyway. You know, wonky eye of Sauron. Okay, so you can see I have 2 here already, but because the eye of Sauron is kind of going to be seen by both sides, if that makes sense. So we're actually going to do, I decided this right here and now, we're actually going to do 4 so that I can stick them together, and so whatever way you look at the you'll be able to see it, I suppose. So so what I'll do is I'll put this one in and then I'll put the other one on top, but I'll show you as we go anyway. Okay, so that's almost to that point there. Grab our first one and we're going to just I'll move this back here so you guys can see. So I'm just going to move that around a little bit so it gets a little bit of a curve up the sides. We're just going to literally sit it on top. Now you're probably thinking that fit in perfectly. Well, I knew the diameter, so when I printed it out I made sure it was the right measurement, which, you know, is important for some things. If I was made the eye a little bit too small, and I wasn't doing an eye the opposite way up, I would actually colour my Isomalt black and do black as a backing so that it made the eye pop more, okay? But because we're doing it the other way around, it's fine. And I'll show you what I mean by that. So normally, that would be done, right? Or it wouldn't be done, you'd pour Isomalt over the top. But because you're going to be able to see it on the other side of it as well, I'm actually going to put an eye this way up as well. And you'll see I didn't put anything in there to stick that on with, because the Isomalt will go down the sides and it'll seal it in there, okay? Okay, so, and then we're going to grab our Isomalt and we're just going to top it off. Like that. Make sure you get your edges because you do want to seal that eye in there. Get your drips up. Hopefully I don't need to heat up anymore, but if I do, I do. Hopefully I measured okay. I did just eyeball it, so get it, eyeball it. Sorry, bad joke. Okay, I did get a little bit of an air bubble there, that's okay. It's just because, as you'll see, the Isomalt has started to set. So there is a little bit of, but that's okay, that's the back end of it anyway. And not only that, we're going to run over it. I'm actually not going to put any more in that because that's really, you can see that's almost to pooled Isomalt temperature. Not just yet, but very close to it. If I had gloves, I would show you how to do some pulled sugar work. But it's a bit hard to get gloves in my size at the moment. As you can see, I have tiny hands. Okay, so our eyes are done there. Just going to give it a little bit of a wiggle around. Okay, and now we're going to pop it in the freezer for about 10 minutes. And then we will take them out and I'll show you what to do if you have air bubbles. Hi guys, so we've got our moulds out of the freezer. Please be careful when you're putting these in the freezer, because if your Isomalt is really runny, then it will run. So if you have the time, I would just leave it to sit at room temp to just set by itself. But yeah, because purpose of a video, we obviously didn't have time. Okay, so now when we're demoulding it, pretty much all you have to do is just pop it out. You can flip it over, which is what I would normally do, and just gently pop it out. As you can hear, that was pretty solid thud. Now this isn't fully set yet. It's to the hard base, but not like it's still a bit sticky, but and it's still a bit warm actually, which is totally okay. You can pull it out of the mold at that stage. Okay. So as you can see, I hope you can see. I promise I'll get better with videos. There is some, you can see the air bubbles on the top there. Yeah. Okay. So all we have to do to fix those. Now, given that it's dragon's eyes, you know, it could give it kind of a cool effect, but because I'm going to be using these for the eye of Sora, I kind of want, it doesn't need to be fully clear, but I don't want kind of that many air bubbles, okay? So we're just going to grab our brulee torch. I'm going to turn it, so I've got a switch on the back here, a little switch. Just pull it down. You want to turn that on. Get your flame going. Now this is a silicone mat, so I'm really not going to burn it. It is for the oven, but don't hold your torch onto it though. And you just want to pretty much run over the top, and it will take out your air bubbles. Just running over the top, and it will clear them right up. Now once you have done that, now the one downside about Isomalt is, there we go, is it does go cloudy over time, okay? So we did chess pieces earlier, so this chess piece here is clear, And if I just left this without sealing it, it would go cloudy over time, and kind of doesn't revert back to its raw stage, but it looks a little bit white, I suppose. I don't really have a piece of isomalt that has, because I always seal my isomalt pieces, but you know, it would go cloudy and it would look not like off candy, because I don't really know what off candy looks like, but you could tell it's not clear anymore and it doesn't look quite as nice, I suppose. That this flour and leaf glaze, which again I get from Sugar Time, it seals it perfectly and keeps it clear and doesn't make it go cloudy. So we've just torched that, so you just want to give it a second because it will be sticky. So you just want to give it a couple of seconds to you know, settle, and then you can paint your glaze over the top. Okay, so we have had a little bit of while, so I'm actually just going to pour some of the glaze onto my silicone mat here, because it'll just wipe straight off. Now this stuff it wrecks your paintbrushes. You really want to use a brush that you don't particularly want anymore, okay? And abracadabra, I have one of those. So just a cheapy brush, pretty much. So you just want to dip it in, and you just want to brush it over the top, just like that. I know it looks kind of like brown when it comes out of the bottle, but it does actually dry clear. You just want to brush it on over, and that will stop your eyeballs from going cloudy. Cloudy is probably the best terminology I can use for it, to be honest, because it just looks cloudy, like a mottled cloudy look, like it's going to sound really bad, but if a dead person's eyes were frozen, that's what it would look like. Sorry, that's the best way I can just describe it. As you can tell, I've been binge watching Criminal Minds. You know, it sticks in your mind a little bit, I suppose. I have, after I watch some episodes of Criminal Minds, I have to watch some Gordon Ramsay, the F Word, because I need to dream about cooking and not about, you know, dead people and murder and people stalking you. So, so yeah. Anyway, that's what I've been doing in lockdown. So I'm not going to. If you remember, I am going to pick it up actually. If you do make a mistake and you do get your fingerprints on there, you can reheat it with the blowtorch and redo it. Just wait probably 5 minutes afterwards, because this is I found out the hard way. This is flammable. So if you do it straight away, it's like like putting alcohol in your fry pan and putting it overheated. Flares up a little bit. But don't do that. But if you leave it about 5-6 minutes, it dissipates. So if you remember though, that's pretty dry there now. We did an eye on the back as well, because it's the eye of Sauron, and we want to be able to see it from both sides. Okay, I'm going to just show you this. This is going to be the side. I've got 4 of these. These will be the sides of the chessboard, which will be like a dragon's eye, I suppose, or the side of a dragon. That's how it is in my head anyway. These have been setting for a week. It is just fondant and the Isomalt Eye. So it really needs to be fully dry in order to sit up on the sides of the chessboard and not warp. This hasn't been painted, so I'm going to do like a silver brush over it, and then come in with some black detailing as well. If you can hear that crackling there, it's the Isomalt setting in the Pyrex container, in the Pyrex jug. Every time I hear it, I think my jug is breaking, but it's not. Okay, so yeah, so that, I think it's going to look cool, but you know, that's me. Okay, so that's our Isomalt eyes. Okay, maybe don't hold them there. Okay. Yep, Isomalt dragon eyes. I love working with Isomalt, in case you hadn't noticed. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching.